Today on Monson Made This, I'm going to be making vegan breakfast crunch wraps.
Ryan Little.
For quite a while, and it might still be true, my most popular video was my Crunchwrap video, which was a veganized version of a Taco Bell Crunchwrap Supreme. And I've had a few people on Instagram request that I make breakfast burritos. So today I'm going to be combining those two ideas and making a vegan version of Taco Bell's breakfast Crunchwrap. I'm going to be air frying a frozen potato cake. I'm going to be making a tofu scramble, grating up some vegan cheese using a Gardein vegan sausage, and then I'll be wrapping all of that up with a beautiful jalapeno sauce and grilling it, and it's gonna be a delicious breakfast thing that you can make ahead, take on the go, or just make all at once and devour all at once. So stick around and I'll show you how to make it. Full disclosure, before we get too far into this, I've never actually had a breakfast crunch wrap from Taco Bell, but I have made a version of it and I posted pictures of it on my Instagram, and when I made it in the past, it was amazing. Today I wanted to go for something a little bit more authentic. So I'm going to be trying to make a version of their jalapeno sauce. So I have the ingredients ready. I'm gonna try to make my own version here. I'm gonna taste it, see how it is, and I'll have a full recipe for you down below with my perfected version of it. So let's throw some things together. I'm gonna start out by dicing what'll hopefully become about a tablespoon worth of diced pickled jalapeno. The recipe I'm kind of using as a guide called for this diced jalapeno and also a little bit of the jalapeno pickling liquid, so I'll probably throw a little bit of that in the final product as well, but I'm just dicing this up as finely as I can. I'm adding about 1/4 cup of vegan plain almond yogurt. The recipe, again, I'm using as a guide called for sour cream, and this has been my sour cream sub for a little while now. I love it. It's Kite Hill's almond yogurt. It's great. And then I'm going to be adding just about the same amount, 1/4 cup of vegan mayo, and I love veganese, so that's what I'm adding here. In this bowl, I have some sugar, paprika, cumin, and some cayenne pepper. I'll have the full measurements below, and I'm just gonna throw that in there. I'm sure you could just use a 1/2 cup of vegan yogurt if you wanted, instead of adding the mayo if you wanted to make it a little bit healthier, but you just need about a 1/2 cup worth of creamy substance. I'm gonna be adding the diced jalapeno in there as well, and I'm gonna stir this up. I'm not gonna add the jalapeno liquid just yet. I wanna see how the consistency is first. So it's pretty well mixed in here. I'm going to just give it a bit of a taste. It's pretty good. I'm gonna be adding some of the jalapeno liquid now. It does need a bit of acidity, so I'm probably adding just, I don't know, maybe a 1/2 teaspoon or so. And I'm gonna add just a bit of salt also. I think it needs some of that. But overall, I'm actually really happy with it. It's got a sweetness, a spiciness. You could add more cayenne pepper if you wanted to make it even spicier, but I don't know, it's a really good sauce. So give it one more sample. Awesome. So I'm gonna pour this into a squeeze bottle to make my life easier later, and I'll be right back with the next step. I'm going to be grating my cheese next. I'm gonna be using this mature cheddar slice from Violife, and it does come already pre-sliced, but I'm going to try my best. I've done this with other sliced cheeses before that don't have any paper or anything between them. I'm gonna treat it as if it's just one big block, and I'm going to grate it. I find that fast food restaurants use a smaller grade, so that's the side of the grater I'm gonna be using. It's not the easiest job, but I do think it is worth it in the end to have it grated. So I'm going to grate these slices down, see how it goes. So I have this beautiful mountain of grated cheese. Full disclosure, I do have a bit of some crumbs that didn't really work when I grated it, but this is what I'm gonna be using. This will also, I mean, I can use these in grilled cheese sandwiches, I can use it in quesadillas, anything else. It's nice to just have it grated on hand, but you know, these pieces will also work. I probably could have put it in the Crunchwrap just as it is, but you know what? I wanted it grated, so I grated it. Next thing I'm going to be making is the tofu scramble, and I'm going to be making just a very basic tofu scramble here. I have a block of extra firm tofu, and it's been drained, but I haven't fully pressed it or anything, so there's still quite a bit of moisture in it. And I'm actually only going to be using half of it today. I'm not going to be making that many of these breakfast things, so only a half is what I'm going to be making today. But you could obviously double the recipe that I'm going to be making and make the whole block. So what I'm going to start here doing, like I said, just a half block here. I'm just going to be crumbling this up into chunks, fairly decent sized chunks, as you would want scrambled eggs. You don't want to make it too small, you'll get it too crumbly, but just kind of break it up with your hands. If it's too big, you can always break it smaller into the pan, but starting out larger is going to be more beneficial. So I'm going to start with the nutritional yeast here as my seasoning, and I'm going to use, I don't know, maybe between 1/8 and 1/4 cup, pretty generous. I'm going to use some lemon juice, probably just about 1.5 teaspoons, maybe 2 teaspoons. Lots of black pepper. And then generous bit of salt. And I'm just going to toss this together, being careful not to break up those pieces. I think the original breakfast Crunchwrap has bacon on it. I'm not really a fan of too many vegan bacons. I didn't really feel like making my own, so I went the sausage route instead. And I'm gonna be experimenting with this Gardein sausage. I've never actually tried it before, so this seemed like a great opportunity to do so. I've let it defrost for just a little bit, and I'm gonna be cutting it up into small little chunks. I'm gonna fry this up first in the pan, just a tiny bit of oil, and then I'll be adding the tofu in there to do the tofu scramble so that the tofu and sausage will be cooking together. So let's chop it up. This pan is on medium heat. I had just added a bit of olive oil in there, and I'll add my sausage. When I was cutting this up, again, it's defrosted or thawed out a bit. It was quite soft, so I think it'll cook up pretty quickly. I just want to get some color on it before I add the tofu. You could avoid this, just do a vegetable version, do peppers, onions, things like that. Or if you have a favorite vegan sausage, add that. I just wanted to try this one, so experiment time. So the sausage is browned up, and I'm actually really impressed with this so far. And I'm gonna add my tofu in here. It's been sitting with the lemon juice and nutritional yeast and salt and pepper on it, so the tofu has absorbed a little bit of that flavor. Don't be afraid to add a little bit more oil if you need, if you're afraid it's gonna stick. Or even add just a little bit of water if you see things are starting to stick. So I'm just gonna keep this. I've actually moved it down to a little bit lower here, medium low. And I'm just gonna keep an eye on it until it starts to brown up, starts to reduce down, and the liquid starts to evaporate. My tofu scramble is just hanging out kind of on medium low in the background, just getting nice and brown. While that's happening, I'm going to be air frying my hash brown patties. Now, I just buy these frozen from Trader Joe's. I think they have them at pretty much any grocery store. Just read the ingredients, make sure there's nothing funky in there, but pretty much these are potatoes and oil and salt. So I'm gonna be throwing 2 of these patties into my air fryer on the highest setting, which is I think 390. You could just cook these in the oven if you don't have an air fryer. Just makes my life easier to use this. And I'm just gonna cook them probably about 10-15 minutes until they're nice and brown and crispy on all sides. Probably be flipping them over halfway. So while these cook, I'll be keeping an eye on my tofu scramble, and when everything's done, it'll be time to assemble. So the hash browns are in the air fryer. Tofu scramble is done. It's got a beautiful golden brown all around. Flavor is great. I'm actually kind of in love with this Gardein sausage. I'll probably be using it a lot more. Just gonna turn this off, let it hang out. Things can be at room temperature when I assemble them, so I'm not worried about it. So just waiting for the hash browns to be finished, and then we'll put it together. Everything is ready, and it is time to assemble. I have my favorite fire roasted tortilla here, but any tortilla will work as long as it's fresh and soft. I'm going to be starting out with a generous layer of the cheese. Depending on what your favorite cheese is, use that. I know this Violife is pretty difficult to find, but it is currently my favorite in terms of cheddar. So I've got a layer of cheese there, and I'm going to next add a pretty good amount of the tofu scramble with sausage. Notice I'm keeping things to kind of a small circle in the middle here. That's so it's easier when I wrap it up. And today I'm going to be making 2 of these, so the amount that I have is probably good enough for the 2 I'll be making. Going to be adding a bit of the sauce. I had to cut the hole in my squeeze bottle a little bit bigger because of the jalapeno pieces, but even that seems to be problematic, so just make sure that however you choose to apply this sauce that you have a container that works for it. Another bit of cheese, and then I'm going to be adding 1 of these crisped up hash browns on there. If you wanted to be more generous with those, you could. If you have another type of potato, you could just do fried potatoes, it's up to you. But now I'm going to wrap it up, fold one side over, and just work around in a circle, making sure that you are completing the circle at the center. And then when you flip it over, you should have a Crunchwrap ready to be grilled. They are all wrapped up, ready to grill. So I'm going to be turning on my stove to probably just medium heat. I don't want it to get too hot because I want it to be able to brown and sear and heat everything through and melt all the cheese without just getting too black on each side. So I'm using a cast iron pan today to do this. It's well seasoned. I could use, obviously, my nonstick pan. Any pan is gonna work for this, but again, just watch the temperature, making sure it's not too hot so you get it nice brown, heated through without overcooking the edges. So start with this one, making sure to keep it sealed, and I'm putting the folded edge down first. And I'm just gonna let it go, making sure that it browns up. As soon as it's brown, I'll flip it over. This has been grilling on one side for a couple of minutes, and it's ready to flip. Look at that beautiful brown color. And you can hear it's got a nice crispiness to it as well. Trying to keep the temperature low. I think I had it maybe a little bit too hot, but I'll be careful on the next side. If you wanted to, you could obviously, if you have some sort of sandwich press, like a panini press, something like that, you could cook these in there as well so that you don't have to worry about flipping it. It'll cook both sides at once. So that's always an option as well. So just gonna wait for this one to finish. I'll swap it out, do my other one, and then we'll do a big reveal. They're done, grilled, beautiful on both sides. And I'm just gonna cut this one in half so we can see a bit of a cross section of it. See if everything came out the way that we wanted to. Look at that, the cheese is melted. We have the potato, tofu, sausage. You can even see some of the jalapeno in there from the sauce. So beautiful, came out perfectly. Normally, if I were to be making these for breakfast, I wouldn't be sitting down at a table to eat them. I would be eating them on the go because these are perfect handheld vegan breakfasts. So I'm gonna give this a taste for you. I'm so excited. It came together really quickly. It's a fast recipe. Just throw things in the pan, toss them, and then put them in here and grill it up. But it takes a little bit longer to shoot it, take the glamour shots. I'm gonna stop talking and take a bite. I apologize for the noises I'm making, but this thing is insane. That sausage is so good. That cheese, BioLife, I wish they were in more places because it is so delicious. The only complaint I have is that I wish I would have put some more of that sauce on here. I might put some on the side to dip it. I actually do have some Taco Bell sauce here that I had from a recent trip through the drive-thru, and I'm just gonna taste it with their authentic sauce. It's heaven. It's amazing. That tofu, you never know that it wasn't egg. It's insane. So definitely give this thing a try and modify it however you want. Use your own favorite vegan sausage or just add vegetables, whatever you want, your own favorite vegan cheese, any potato of your choice. This will work great. So, wow, give it a try. Let me know how you like it. Give me comments below. I will have the full recipe below posted so that you can make it on your own. And watch my other videos, check those out, comment on those if you like them. And if you do make this, definitely tag me on Instagram, #MonsonMadeThis, and let me know what you thought of it. Well, I'm gonna finish this. It's too good to just let it sit here. You enjoy the rest of your day, the rest of your week, and I will see you next Monday with another recipe video.